let's go to your favorite peak. Talk about peaking.
I don't know why
he's
I
not
say
in peaking anymore.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
he got
I'm
past it. He
actually-
was like, "F those
yeah,
guys."
I'm
I
not.
don't
It's not that I seem ignorant to it. It's my best days are gone past. No, I appreciate all the good shit that happens inside of peaking.
Yeah.
I think the only thing to add to this so we don't skip over peaking, but we kind of do, is I just really think that it's the lack of scaffolding of the previous phase that causes most of the issues inside of this particular expression. Yeah, that's what I think goes on. So whenever you see overreaching in peaking, it's got to do with a lack of proper scaffolding and developmental of specific habits and principles in growing. When you see, underdevelopment, it could be because they just never had access to that during those particular phases, or it could have been overreaching during growing. So any of the dysfunctions that happen in peaking when all of your quote-unquote systems are supposed to be up to par is generally occurring due to the previous phase. That's what I love about the whole thing combining together.
Yeah. I know you want to kind of skip over peaking a little bit, but I'm really I'm interested to hear your thoughts of like, and you can put them all together, and then we can continue the conversation and take the peaking as long as we want to, maybe a couple minutes. What does peaking look like? Let's say the scaffolding is there.
Yeah.
This individual went through the grow phase appropriately,
Yep.
and expression is there. Like what does true peaking look like? Not and let's stay away from like and I know you will, but let's stay away from like actually getting to peak physical potential, because I don't think we're going to talk about that necessarily. We're just going to talk
not
about
in the words. But
yeah. What does a day-to-day what does day-to-day look like for someone that's inside of this that does have the scaffolding?
Yeah, so if they do have the scaffolding, it is, I'm trying to find another way to use the words that you're telling me I shouldn't use, but you are actually able to maintain and sustain your highest ever in your lifetime peak physical expression and consistency around that, right? So, this will kind of hit, so you'll, deadlift 2.3 times your body weight on Tuesday, and then you can do it again on Saturday, and you can do it again next Tuesday, and you can do that for 5, 7, 9, 12 years, right? You could, run for 2 hours straight. You could run then for 3 hours straight, and then you could go for a jog for 2 hours straight. So I'm only giving like really simple examples of the two things, the bipolar examples. But I think inside that story, it's good to listen to that I wrote down. It's the other thing that I think people have a hard time dealing with here is they think, especially in modern times, especially with the digital world and our perceptions of what we're supposed to do in society, we think this should be really sexy, really entertaining, and shared with everyone. And so to tell people, no, you just need to walk and do some weight training and don't tell anyone about it, that seems really mediocre with regards to this particular age group. So I think that's a real big problem. It's almost as big as the problem of trying to invoke the intentions inside the 99% of the sport athletes that will be like, listen, just back off a tiny bit, and you'll be able to live the rest of your life without knee problems. Yeah.
In terms of physical expression, then something that I take out of this.
But did I answer the question on the physical?
Yeah, you did.
Was it clear? Okay.
What I take out of it is you're as fit as you
will ever be,
but not as fit as you ever can be.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. Yeah,
so
flirting.
your peak physical potential, but not your absolute maximum physical potential.
Yeah, that's a good philosophical conversation. It is
because I think we have to be clear on that, because if we use the language, your absolute maximum physical potential, that's where what happens? Overreaching, and it's like, go
for sure.
2 days, 3 days,
sure.
this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, just be good with you being as fit as you ever have been. And in this phase, you'll reach a point where you're going to be as fit as you ever will be.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're as fit as you possibly can be.
Yeah, that's where I use the word that the phase is 15 years long and volume dictates pace. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you can, so that's why it's a good philosophical argument, because someone actually, it's hard to measure, but they could be like flirting so much. But if they can flirt perceptively so much for 15 years, it actually is. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a good, it's a good
We just need to develop like a blood test where it's like, take this blood, put it in this
I'm at my
dish,
peak.
and just be like, just this like digital thing pops up, and it's like, here's your absolute maximum physical potential. Here's
Yeah.
where you are right now. It's okay
Yeah.
if you stay here for because who knows what
Yeah.
their maximum physical potential
No.
really is? You
This-
don't know unless you
No, but-
overreach and try to get there.
Oh, for sure. This is why we're talking about these, because to give people a North Star idea on, is it possible that what I did, it takes me 3 days to recover from? I don't think that's what James was talking about.
Yeah.
With, you know what I'm saying? Like it makes them go back and say, oh, gee, you know, when I'm 70, what I do right now, that actually does matter. So if someone questions that, then yeah, I think it's good to have either subjective or real data that
Yeah.
shows them like how close they are to it. That's the beautiful thing around consistency, though, in exercise, that if those habits are scaffolded, like you asked me, if someone's scaffolded, what's their max peak? Actually, you know, I have no problems with these people, because we keep forgetting that if people have learned to be consistent up to 25, they don't need any guidance here. They're
Yeah.
just lifting rocks and running.